Sure. And would you say that there's a particular like population that you focus on in both your therapy hat and your kind of wellness hat, which I know have a lot of crossover, right? So, but like, is there?
Yes, there is some crossover, but in my training and my coaching business is typically men over the age of 40, gay men over the age of 40,
Okay.
Has been my dominant, the dominant population that I serve. And I specifically created that niche because I feel that there was a need for representation there, specifically working with gay men and some of the issues that they face in terms of getting older, body image, health, and well-being. Like there's some things that are specific there. So 40 plus has been the demographic that has served me well. In my role as a therapist, it ranges. And it's been this, over the last few months, it's been this beautiful array of like, you know, from LGBTQ to young adult males, transition,
Wow.
you know, and like stage of life, and
Yeah.
you know, heterosexual women. Like I've had a variety of cases, which has been wonderful.
Good. I love that. I love that. What do you started to talk about, and I didn't want to miss it, about some of the themes you've noticed in like gay men over 40, right? It sounds like there's a lot of themes that you've noticed with them. Like, what are some themes that you've noticed kind of in your work and how you help them both from like a mental health to nutrition, right? That's kind of what you're referring to here. Like stress management is kind of a mental health, right? Lifestyle is kind of how you view yourself and you present, right? Nutrition, and then like physical, like wellness overall. Like, what are some themes you've noticed working with this population?
Yeah, I think one of the major themes is you know, this need for understanding, having a better grasp of injury prevention, right? Training safely. Another is self-esteem and confidence.
Wow.
Body image.
Yeah.
Issues. Aging. Isolation, loneliness, right? The need for community and closeness.
I'm sure. Yeah.
So those are some of the things that I find consistent.
Sure. And a lot of those are mental health, right? As you've just named, like obviously aging, but that is a mental health plus a physical, right? There's a lot of overlap there.
That's right.
Wow. And those are big themes. I mean, what's that like in your interaction with people kind of going through those like stages of life? But also I agree with you about isolation and getting older in a community that we don't see a lot of images of looking older, right? What's that been like for you?
It's been life-changing for me in a sense where I've, over the last 5 years, established a greater appreciation for life, and I live in complete gratitude for the life that I have, and I take nothing for granted, and I'm able to see the power of community and connection, the power of a mind, body, soul connection, and understanding, you know, who I am and where what my life is, what my life is, and like where I'm going, you know, kind of have a path forward, living a life of purpose, and giving me the opportunity to help share that that gift with every one of my clients that comes in.
Wow. I can really see how, I mean, your energy and the way that you approach life, I can see that it really affects the people you're around, that you kind of have that. And I know that you've also spoken about before, like you have built kind of not just a community of training, right? Like you've gotten people together that are especially isolated, right? I mean, all walks of life, on trips, on activities, on dinners.
So that's where I have seen the greatest change, you know, is providing space and opportunities for people to connect, heal, and grow, you know.
Wow.
And so that has been my guiding, you know, my guiding force is just being able to participate in creating those opportunities for the men that I work with to heal and grow.
Heal is a perfect word. I couldn't agree with more. Where do you think that clicked for you, that it's beyond fitness, right? There's so much more here. right? There's so much more in this community. There's so much more for me too, because you're giving, but you're also getting. Like, at what point do you think, or points did that click for you, of how important this was?
And I think that I can't leave out the fact that, as you said earlier, there has been a significant change in my focus, right? Like, I went from focusing heavily on like the outside to who I am and being able to move through the world with a certain level of physicality and knowledge, to then realizing through my own personal journey, and we talked a little bit about earlier about my recovery, I learned more about the importance of the work that needed to be done internally.
Sure. Was that a hard journey for you, or challenging
to learn
about?
It was a challenging journey because, again, like a lot of LGBT people in the community who have experienced significant amounts of trauma and all the things that, you know, we can go through, you know, drugs and alcohol ends up being, you know, the turn that a lot of us take.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Especially gay men, as you already, I mean,
especially gay men. And so, you know, coming through that, having that experience allowed an opportunity for me to learn the importance of going in and establishing other tools and learning how to cope and learning the importance of community and connections.
Sure.
I think it was, you know, in my late 20s, early 30s is when I really made that shift.
Sure. Makes sense. And was that coinciding with your own recovery, if you don't mind me asking, or did one kind of happen?
Yes.
Okay.
And at the same time, I think I became more aware of the importance. On some level, I already knew, right?
Sure.
Because I was kind of living and experiencing life in ways from a very early age that was, you know, I was very active and team oriented and community focused and all of those things. But I think for a while, I kind of, if you will, I took a sabbatical. I took some time away from that, and I kind of went out and partied and did all the things that, you know, some young folks do. And then through the grace of, you know, love and introspection, I was able to find this moment of clarity. And I found it in the program of, you know, in different 12-step programs.
Sure. Makes complete sense. And I think I like the term sabbatical, like kind of a break, but I came back. But you're right. Like, I think that you've always seen the power of community, right? As it related to sports and community. Like, we talk to kids about it's not just about your ability to play. It's about forming friends, right? It's about learning how to relate. It's about learning that sometimes we lose, sometimes we win. There's a lot of lessons to be taught in sports, no matter how great or how awful we are in those. And there is community. Like, I've spoken to a lot of people that had such a community on a softball league, on a football team, all these things, and friends and connection that just easily happened, right? And then all of a sudden you don't have that, and you're searching for community. And sometimes it can be in places that don't serve you or hurt you, what it sounds like. And you kind of found your way back in a different room, it sounds like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.